I mean, life will always throw you a curveball. But as they say, right? What matters is how you react to it. They say life is what, 90% of how you react to things and 10% what happens to you. So as I'm as you're seeing this video, it should be days after I wrote this post here. So basically, that competition or presentation I mentioned in videos weeks ago, a video weeks ago rather, I won. I showed up. He showed up. Like we both showed up, and he started telling people that, hey, listen, I'm not going to compete anymore. Even though he came to present, like the people, they have mixed opinions about this. I also have my own opinion. Some say that he did that because he felt intimidated by me. I don't think that's true, but like, and others are saying he forfeit because he felt that he's seen the work I've been putting in, and basically he handed it off to me as a sign of respect. There's maybe that's the thing too. Listen, sometimes people fold that way. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, as you can see from the post, I did still present. They scored me out of 140 points. Why 140? There were 7 people who said that they were going to judge, right? 7. And they're going to judge off of 20 points. So 7 times 20 is 140. I scored 133. They were scoring me based on my presentation, obviously, and the work I had to present, the project. They were really impressed. And I remember I finished the presentation, right? And it was like quiet for like a solid 10 seconds. Everyone's staring at me. Everyone's like on the edge of their seats. Like, is there more? Is there more? And then boom, everyone started clapping. So anyway, I'm happy that it all happened because man, I've been working really hard on the project. Now, when I came home, I remember I was getting like phone calls and text messages, like congratulations, all that stuff. And I just decided to put my phone down for a bit because stuff is overwhelming. Like, and then I put it down for literally 10 minutes, right? I step away. Boom. I go back and I see my phone. And it's a message from this guy who I've known for years. His wife owns the hair salon that I go to, right? Whenever I need to get my hair braided or colored, I go over there. And I've been going to the same hair place for like 3 to 4 years. He says in the text message, and I'm not going to read this word for word, just out of respect. You know what I'm saying? He says, I am deeply saddened to share that my wife has passed away. And I saw the message. It was a paragraph. And he wrote so many positive things about her. And he asked me to keep him and his family in my prayers, right? So I looked at the message and I immediately replied with my condolences and all that other stuff, right? And I said, if you need anything, please let me know. So this guy's wife, right, who passed 2 or 4 weeks ago, I was given news that she was in the hospital. They live in New Jersey, but their business is out here in New York. So I drove, it was about nearly 2 hours deep into New Jersey, and the traffic was crazy. That's what took so long. And I visited her at the hospital. Man, when I went there, she just, she was in the ICU and she was heavily sedated. She lost a ton of weight. She had blisters. It just didn't look good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think she knew I was there because she was really fighting for her life. And I ended up seeing the husband there, and we talked for a bit, and he said, yo, Andre, thank you so much for making the drive out here to support me. Much love. And I gave him a hug. Listen, it's tough seeing your wife, who you've been married to for 40 years, fighting for her life. You know what I'm saying? So after this, I drove back to New York. And throughout the past 2 to 4 weeks since I went to New Jersey, he's been, I wouldn't say randomly, but he's been updating me about her. And every time he gives me news, it's not always the best. It's bad. They had to put like a tube in her lungs. Apparently there was too much water in her lungs as well. She coded, which means a patient is basically in need of life-saving measures like CPR. So like she died and they had to bring her back. When they say they coded, right? So despite me having a very successful night, this news that she actually died after fighting for nearly a month, it really threw me off. And I felt really sad, but I couldn't process my emotions for some reason. In any case, I immediately started texting some of the girls who worked at the salon, and I gave them my condolences. Once I sent one of the text messages to one of these girls, They called me immediately. And she's bawling out. She's like bawling all on the phone. She's crying so much. And the whole time while she's crying to me on the phone, I was grounded and I wasn't showing any emotion. That did help neutralize her. But after we got off the call, I texted her. And, I remember what she was saying on the phone when she was crying. She's like, this is my best friend. And, like, I can't believe she's gone. I've known her for so long. And like, I just not showing emotion. I don't understand. And yet I feel sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I texted her and I said, hey, I'm sorry if I sounded too grounded or I sounded too cold. I just don't know how to process my emotions. I'm really sorry. And again, I felt so bad. I'm sad, but like, I'm not showing my emotions from it. So I'm just sitting there thinking like, man, why do I do this? Let me tell y'all, in I think it was 2022, I lost my dog. I had her for 20 years. I made several videos talking about this, right? I made a whole post about this too. To this day, whenever I think about her, I end up crying. I get a little bit emotional, right? I miss this dog so much. I grew up with her and she was such a good dog. And my mom and I, we still grieve over losing her. But I remember when we had to put her down. I didn't like the decision. It wasn't my decision either. But I understood. The dog is blind. She can't hear, basically. She can't walk. She has breathing issues. She has bowel issues. She has to be taken, like she is in constant pain. She's a 20-year-old Labrador. She's underweight. Labs don't even live that long. Like, she won't eat either. So like, they're just not supposed to live that long. I forgot. I'll put it on the screen right now how much the life expectancy is. But like, I took care of that dog. But age is a curse and a blessing. And I remember my dad and I was driving to the vet with the dog in the back seat and my dad was in the front seat, right? And the whole time I was emotionless. I was disassociated. Then when we got in the vet and I had to give them permission to put my dog down, my dad started crying a lot. Like, I've never seen my dad cry like that before. He was devastated. But me, I wasn't crying. I wasn't showing any emotion. And my dad is crying right in front of me. And like, my dog is about to get put down. And yet I'm not like, and my dad looked at me and he's like, what's wrong with you, Andre? Why are you not crying like I am? And I just didn't reply. And then I remember holding my dog's paw while they were administering the dosage to put her down. And then suddenly, snap, I fall apart. I literally fall apart. Now I'm crying like crazy. I'm panic. I'm having like panic attacks here. And then like, how can I, like, I grew up with this dog. 20 years I had the dog. Like, I'm having like, what will I do without this dog? And then, that replays in my mind all the time. I remember the sadness I felt when I couldn't feel my dog's pulse anymore. I just remember just all of a sudden, just something just flipped in my head and I just felt all this emotion rushing in. She died in my hands and I miss her to this day. But this pattern, you're seeing something, right? Like with the phone call I mentioned earlier. And I really started thinking about it. Yo, I realized throughout my life, and man, actually, now you think about it, if you pay attention to some of my story time videos, you'll notice this too. Whenever I go through something traumatic or very stressful, like a stressful situation, I subconsciously disassociate. I seem very nonchalant for some reason. Last year was one of the worst years of my life. And y'all know the whole story about that, right? If you check the timeline though, what ultimately triggered me to start self-destructing happened months to nearly a year ago. I had almost a year-long delayed emotional response. You know why? I suppressed it. I noticed I suppress a lot. And that's my natural response to things. So when the girl is calling me on the phone crying, for some reason, I'm disassociated. And I'm like self-aware of it while it's happening. And you know what's going to happen based on my whole life? Give it a few days or weeks, suddenly it's all going to hit me. And I'm going to be devastated about that text message that this very kind woman who is a mother, who, by the way, like, you know what? I've been going to her salon for so long because she does treatment on my hair because, you know, my scalp was like really dry. She like completely renourished like my hair. And she's the nicest person ever, man. I never seen her mad. Like, she's so sweet. And she's gone. Known her for years, she's gone. This is why I feel like in my videos, I say this, right? But I'm not the best emotional support. I have a delayed emotional response when something is stressful or traumatic to me. And I realized why this happens. Because when I first became self-aware of that tonight, I started digging into my past. Fun fact. When I was a kid, well, before I say that, fun fact. Here's fun fact number one, actually. I'm a crybaby. When I was a kid, I cried a lot too. Anytime I would get frustrated, you ever get so frustrated you start crying, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I would cry a lot. I used to get so frustrated a lot over little things. Even as a grown man, I cry a lot. And I don't even be crying about frustrated stuff anymore. I be crying over, I be crying over sad videos, over nostalgia. Man, you know, I was watching the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I told you how much I love that anime, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I was listening to the intro song. Man, I was like crying right there in front of the computer. Like, bro, it's like a card game on motorcycles. Like, I be crying over very relatable moments I see in anime or in a video game. Bro, I just be crying for no reason. But because I've been a crybaby, because I am a crybaby, I remember my parents making comments about that when I was really young. Even siblings. Oh, of course, Andre's crying because of X, Y, and Z. Oh, why are you always crying? Like, so I started to suppress it whenever I was around people. I remember too many scenarios where I would get frustrated around people, not because of people, but just frustrated about anything. And I would be on the verge of tears. But I would never let my tears fall or show that I was about to cry or crying. Whenever I felt that way, I would sort of step away from people. I would show no emotion because, like, I don't want you to see I'm crying. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember even when I played sports, when I played football, I would get frustrated because I screwed up too many plays or I did something really wrong or stupid, right? And I'm super embarrassed because it happens, you know what I'm saying? But I'm super embarrassed that I felt I'm frustrated with myself. I end up verge on tears, right? And I felt like crying. But this is football. This is a man's sport. We be tackling people, cuz. I'm not going to sit here and start crying, even though I want to. And then, so I built this habit for years upon years where my brain subconsciously, I just suppress my emotions in times of stress. And now that I've acknowledged the root of this, I don't even know where to go from here. Listen, everything comes with the good and the bad, right? This allows me to be very stable when I'm in a stressful situation. I tend to be very relaxed. And it sometimes bothers people, like when I'm so relaxed in stressful situations, it puzzles them. Like they think I don't care too. See, that's the thing. That's the thing about the phone call with the girl. I'm worried that she thinks I don't care. Like, I do care and I feel bad. I just can't express it. But, you know, being this way, right, it helped me navigate through stressful situations. Whenever something traumatic happens to me, I can maintain myself for an extended period of time before I eventually collapse. Yet at the same time, there needs to be balance where I can react in the moment. The thing is, here's the thing, right? Everyone reacts differently to stress and trauma, right? Obviously, this is how I act. It's delayed or disassociated. Some people, they start cracking jokes when they're stressed or they start being silly, right? Some other people, they start immediately crying. They could cry on the spot when something stressful happens or anything, right? I'm just rambling because I do feel guilty about the phone call. Like, she's calling me, she's crying and everything. Like, I can't cry with you. I feel sad, I feel hurt. I just can't express it in the moment. I can't do it. And hopefully I don't come off like I'm a psycho or something. Like, I'm a crazy dude, but I be crying about everything unless it's something stressful or traumatic in the moment. Seeing this woman who I've known for years, who's been very kind to me, finding out the news that she's gone now, that's very stressful to me. Like, I'm stressed. So I just can't react right now. And I did tell her that I was going to visit her today and just talk, but like, man, I don't know. How do you guys react to stress or traumatic events? Like, what do you guys think about how my brain, how the reaction to this stuff is? Like, let me know down below. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen. Not the